Welcome to the revolution. Back to motherfucking Bigfoot being found. So, Bigfoot. Now, this is coming from Coyote Peterson. Now, one thing I would like to note is that these individuals were allegedly looking for Bigfoot, which makes this a little sketchy to me. If I stumbled across in the woods while I was going backpacking or on a Boy Scouts trip or whatever the hell people are doing, it might be a little less sketchy to me that they found it. But apparently they were looking for this and they found a skull. He said that I'll read it from the beginning. It says, leaking pics here before they are taken down and before government officials try to seize our footage. It says, I found a large primate skull in British Columbia. Filmed it, cut the footage, released it on Brave Wilderness, which is the account that you can go see the full video of what I'm about to show you guys here, is at Brave Wilderness on Instagram. You can also, it says this weekend, I have kept this secret for several weeks. Yes, I halved the skull. I smuggled it through customs and TSA and is currently in a secure location awaiting primatologist reviews. Damn. Absolutely unreal, he said. We thought it was a bear skull when we first found it. I can 100% guarantee that it is not. The skull was found partially buried underground in deep back forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pac Northwest, where clearly a bunch of trees and earth were disturbed. I'm sure these pics will all be taken down as probably the video by government and state park officials, but the skull is safe. I don't know if it's what you all think it might be, but I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pacific Northwest without wondering, what do you believe? Now, when he pulls up the skull, this is a huge primate skull. So if you are a, Bigfoot believer, this is like the holy grail of evidence. Like everybody looks back to like the, the video of the guy, like obviously in a suit, walking across the forest with some guy just so happens to be filming from a field, right? Where this Bigfoot walks across just casually and then like stops and looks. It's like the most ridiculous thing ever. But this is pretty interesting, right? Even if it's not the Bigfoot, I think you kind of have to understand that, it's just a big ass primate, right? That's all the idea of Bigfoot is. That's all the idea of like Yetis are. That's all the ideas of, whatever you want to describe this thing as. It's just a big ass primate, right? And if they find a big ass primate skull, right, whatever you want to call it, right? It could be a formerly extinct type of primate, or maybe there's several left. And what will be interesting to see is dating on this, even if they just decide it's a big ass primate that we didn't know about, this discovery, you could still say it's Bigfoot. And you could still say potentially maybe there's still some around, but that would be interesting. So let's go ahead and watch this video. It's 2.5 minutes long of this guy actually discovering the skull. You'll be able to hear it, and you'll be able to see it if you're on YouTube and Rumble. All right. So here we go with the video. We'll watch this and then we will discuss it even further. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm interested to see it just as much as you are.
All right, we'll come up there. It'll be about a minute.
I found a skull or a bone or something of some sort right here in the bed of the river.
He did find a bear skull in West Virginia?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sometimes I doubt his ability to find skulls, because I'm off looking for snakes, he's looking for skulls.
All right, so there's three guys walking through a forest. Prior to this, there was a bunch of drone footage and stuff that they were like kind of zooming over this area. So it seems like they were using the drone to kind of go over areas that were disturbed. Now they are kind of just walking up on the area that the drone had just saw the footage of what they believed could have been a skull. All right, so that's the context of this. Prior to this, they go into a little bit about why they're out there and what they're doing. So go over to that, at Brave Wilderness on Instagram. You'll be able to find the full clip. All right, but let's continue it on. We got 1.5 minutes left.
You see that, like, eye cavity sticking up?
Yep, that definitely is a skull. Look, kind of looks human.
No, it's probably a bear. I'm sure it's probably a bear. So what I'm gonna do is slowly try to unearth it. You guys good?
Yeah.
That's wrong. There we go. There we go. Yes. Oh, it is a bear. It is definitely a bear skull. Holy mackerel. Look at that.
That's not a bear skull.
Actually, that is not a bear skull. You're right.
What? Hey, put that down.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, put that down.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear. Dude, is that a primate skull?
I mean, yeah, that's not a bear. That's a primate.
But that's not a human skull.
That might be a movie prop.
I mean, I'm almost afraid to say it. That could be a Sasquatch skull.
He says that could be a Sasquatch skull. The first guy says it could be a movie prop, and then he immediately goes to Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti or whatever descriptive term you want to use to describe a huge ass primate that a lot of people have talked about for a long time, which, like, of all the mythical, magical creatures that could or do or possibly have existed, a Yeti seems to be the most plausible. A Sasquatch, a Bigfoot, whatever the hell you want to call it. You know, there were big ass dinosaurs several, however damn long ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. There was big ass dinosaurs that walked this earth. Why wouldn't there be at some point in the medium area of T-Rexes and humanity and civilization as we know it today, potentially be maybe a big ass primate that's been around for a while? So let's see what else they have to say about it.
Like, that's what I'm thinking right now, is that is the skull of a primate in the Pacific Northwest, buried under mud in a log fall down the side of a river. Like, we should look and see if there's other bones.
I highly doubt it. It's a primate skull. I mean, I can't really explain anything else.
Well, we're gonna definitely take it back with us.
We should call someone. I mean, I kind of just feel a little bit uncomfortable right now. Stop!
I'm gonna keep touching it, dude.
I've got service. The fact is,
Do not call anybody.
whatever this is was maybe shot in the head. There's a hole in the skull.
Maybe it was shot.
Do you know what happens when people find like a T-Rex skull, an artifact?
They keep it.
No,
They would.
No,
they
he is right, they
document
don't.
it
Yeah.
because there could be like other stuff there because it's delicate.
I think we should put some sort of log that we can mark the
Yeah.
area over it. It's not like somebody's gonna come up here and find it.
I took a pin.
Okay.
We're good.
They say somebody shot it in the head. If somebody shot Bigfoot in the head and left it there to die and didn't go tell somebody about this, so they came and picked it up, that's a shitty move for humanity. If some man was out there and shot this Sasquatch and just left the body there, that's a letdown. That's an L for the human race, because we should have known about this. Or this is not that, and it's just a big ass gorilla. But from the sounds of it, these guys know what they're talking about far more than I do. And they seem to be pretty impressed by this. But again, these guys were looking for Sasquatch to begin with. So that's where my questioning comes into play. But again, I think of all of the mythical, magical creatures that could have existed ever, this one seems to be the most plausible to me. And we have seconds left here, so we'll watch the rest of this.
Let's just go.
I really don't want anything to do with this. Whatever that is, it's not supposed to be there.
Oh, darn, I left my backpack. I'll meet you guys on the trail. So flustered, I left my backpack. I'm totally taking that skull. Sorry, Mario.
All right, so that's it. That's all we'll watch. Now, if you go over to Brave Wilderness, at Brave Wilderness on Instagram, you'll see they have like 306,000 followers. This isn't like some, random account that's posting this that seems to be fairly confident they found Bigfoot, or in their words, a Sasquatch. But it's a fairly big account, and they have a decent following for this. And I haven't looked a ton through their account, but it doesn't appear to be completely satirical. And these guys seem to be pretty impressed by what they just found. So time will tell. I will be interesting. It says at the end of the video, they're basically the entirety of this video shows them like finding it, how they found it, why they were out there, what they were doing, and then finding it. And then as this guy shoves it into his backpack, he goes on to say that they smuggled it. So he says he's kept it for a secret for several weeks. Yes, I have the skull. I smuggled it through customs and TSA, which probably wasn't a smart move to say to begin with. But I smuggled it through customs and TSA, and it's currently in a secure location awaiting primatologist review. Absolutely unreal. We thought it was a bear skull when we found it. I can 100% guarantee it's not. The skull was found partially buried underground in deep backwood forest ravine after a massive storm. All right. So this guy smuggled the skull, the Bigfoot skull. And then one of the guys says, what happens when they find dinosaur bones? It's like, oh, well, they get to keep it? It's like, this guy just, there's probably 100 different random rich dudes with actual Bigfoot skulls on their wall above their mantle. That they're like, yeah, we know this. But I don't know. Is Bigfoot real? I think the words and the terminology that's used to describe Bigfoot, yeah, it's probably not this like weird looking thing strolling through the forest and, you know, that's the Sasquatch that people have described, but there's probably a big ass primate out there that we don't know about that's taller than us humans, that walks in some funky looking way that could rip us apart in 2 seconds. Why wouldn't there be? Like the fact that people are more in disbelief that there is the potential of a tall ass primate, more so than a humongous 5 or 200, however damn big a T-Rex is, like massive chicken that was once around eating everything and everybody in its way. Like nobody questions a dinosaur the same way that they question Bigfoot, but Bigfoot is far more believable than a dinosaur is to me. Now, I'm not saying dinosaurs aren't real, but I am saying that the likelihood that Bigfoot or whatever somebody describes as a tall ass primate could probably be very real, right? We find like, I don't know, it's like 1,200 new species of bugs a day. I don't know what the actual number is. I just made that up completely off the top of my head. But we find a shit ton of bugs every day. We find new fish every day. Now, we've probably searched the forest far more than we've searched the ocean. But the fact remains the same. It's like however many new species a day in the rainforest is found. Like so many different species every single day. But the fact that we have, you know, we just cannot comprehend the idea that there's a tall monkey somewhere that's still around that's bigger than us. I don't know. It seems crazy to me that it's even you know, this big of the conspiracy world is involved in a tall primate. Like it seems like it should be more so a zoologist's interest rather than a conspiracy theories interest in this tall primate. But we'll have to see. Go to the Brave Wilderness and follow them and follow along on this because we'll have to see if they're full of shit. This is probably the biggest news. I'm not like big into the Sasquatch world of things. but I would assume as far as Sasquatch evidence and you know, movement towards the realization that Bigfoot is a thing has been in the last decade, this is probably among the top findings that could lead to this, you know, potentially being widely accepted. All right. So on that note, all of you primates out there, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the episode.